information in there now, and then it's finishing the setup process, and I'll share it a couple of times, and we'll be ready to rock. It's probably already showing that we're live. Yeah.
Yep, it is.
Yeah. There's a lag, and I don't know why. Awesome. So, we are live on Facebook. So now I will share this. Let me actually send you the link so you can share it real quick if you want. Put it out to all your people. We'll connect your people to my people, and then we'll have a party.
Yeah.
Right. There it goes. Okay. Got all of my shares plugged in. Cool. And for anyone out there in Facebook world, not moderating comments right now, I'll go back and check them afterwards. Right. Let's do this.
Right.
Right. Good evening, everyone. This is Jared with Carbon Digital and the Digital Battlefield Podcast. Today we're focusing on a segment called the Digital Diagnosis, where it's basically a discovery phone call where we identify problems and come up with solutions and creative ways to just tackle the problems that we see. Normally we do this over the course of like 2 weeks to a month, but today we're trying to drop as many bombs as we can in 2 hours. Today's guest is Judy Skilling. She is a certified high performance coach. And Judy, take it away.
Yeah, no, it sounds great. So like you said, I'm just a certified high performance coach, and I work with military and veteran entrepreneurs, and I help them, minimize distractions so that they can increase their productivity and enhance their wellness so they have more energy, as well as, cultivate positive relationships, and so that they don't take a backseat, on the way to success, because that does happen. And so when I saw your opportunity of a digital diagnosis, it's, not only are we colleagues, but just to, take a really under the hood look, so to speak, with my website and where I could, further enhance, what I have and get it in front of the right people. And, maybe there could be something. I'm not an expert in IT stuff. You are the expert, and that's why we're here talking.
I actually don't even consider myself an expert. I'm just a guy who knows a shit ton of shit.
Yes, and you know more than me, so I consider that.
I'll take it. For anyone listening, just in case you didn't already know, this is an explicit podcast, so if that sucks for you, suck it. All right, moving on. So, what kind of stuff do you actually go through and really educate people on? Not necessarily like the nitty gritty details of the basics, but like high level. What type of categories of stuff do you do?
Yeah, no, that's a fantastic question. So when I work with clients or people are interested on like, okay, this is where I'm at, I'd like to, get to this point. I work with them and I instill 6 specific high performance habits, which research has shown that people who perform at the top of their game, like high performance people such as Olympians and Fortune 100, 500 CEOs, or people who are leaders of organizations, huge organizations, they have embodied and adapted 6 specific skills that, when mastered, get you to that level of performance, to where you are consistently performing at the top of your game without feeling burnt out, without feeling like your energy's drained. And I always thought, I want to get to that level. How do I do it? And a lot of people don't know how to do it. And this program was founded by Brendan Burchard, who is the CEO of the High Performance Institute. And so he studied, world performers, world highest performance, really just understood, what is it that these people do. So what I do is, I work with people and I use the skills within my own life myself to make sure that I'm on that path of being a successful, coach, entrepreneur, business owner, and whatnot. And so that's kind of like the bird's eye view of what it looks like in the coaching that I provide with people. And it's life changing, because once you learn something and it shifts the way you show up for your business, you never go back to the same person again. And
Not
so
only for your business, just in general. As soon as something triggers that change, like you can never go back.
yeah, and that's the whole purpose of personal growth, and the more things that you learn and shift in terms of changing your perspective, how you're communicating with your team, how you're communicating with customers and colleagues and whatnot, it just it changes everything. So these habits have been very fundamental in how I've been successful, as well as like coaching people along that path. And the feedback that I've gotten in just a short amount of time, because I offer a sample coaching and what that looks like, has just been amazing. So it's
Okay.
definitely life changing, for sure.
Awesome. In terms of your audience, I know you mentioned veterans earlier. So who specifically is your audience, and what are you doing to captivate their attention?
So specifically, I love to give back to the military and veteran community. And the reason why those are the people that I love to work with is because, me being a veteran as well, too, I know what it's like to serve. I served in the Navy for 7 years as a corpsman. And when I
Nice.
understood these habits and I understood my service in the military, it just meshed so well together. And I thought, oh my gosh, this could help so many veterans and military people. Like, this needs to
Right.
be out there. And so I'm really passionate about it. And so the people who I would love, who I love helping are those entrepreneurs, especially because, at least 50% of business owners are all, veterans or military people. And when it comes to small business, and those people who have been an entrepreneur for a couple of years, or they have been in business for 5+ years, these skills can be applicable no matter what stage you are in your business, whether you're just starting out or whether you've been in business for a number of years. And I
Okay.
love to work with them because the drive, the discipline, the structure, the consistency,
Yeah.
that's what we learn in the military. And
Yeah.
so it meshes so
Just
well.
muscle memory is like the most
Exactly.
important concept. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
So is that veterans who are entrepreneurs or veterans and entrepreneurs?
Specifically veterans who are entrepreneurs.
Okay, both. Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. And uh, tying into the veteran community, uh, I don't know if you've seen this as well as I have, but sometimes you need to target someone who's not your customer to get your customer. Does that make sense?
I've heard that. Yeah.
So what I'm getting at is, there's a lot of veteran nonprofits out there, and they're saying our customer is a veteran, so they'll target the ads for veteran to try to get the veteran to come in and donate money, which is the opposite approach, because you're targeting 1 to 3% of the country to support that 1 to 3% when you should be targeting everyone else. And so what I'm wondering is, have you seen it through your own work where the referrals that you get for people are not coming from a previous client, they're coming from someone out there who saw you and referred you to a veteran because of that?
I don't think I've had that experience just yet.
Okay.
Prior to me choosing to working with military and veteran entrepreneurs, I wanted to work with just basic entrepreneurs, people
Okay.
who were, either starting a network marketing business, for example, or they were starting, small businesses and whatnot. And I think I just found it challenging. It just didn't resonate strongly with me because I just had a hard time communicating, with that demographic. And I was like, okay, maybe I can talk to female entrepreneurs because I'm a female, and
Right.
trying to find that commonality. And it just didn't click. It didn't really work well for me. And then until I shifted my demographic to be like, okay, maybe what about veterans, because I'm a veteran, and it's much easier. It just, yeah.
Have you, with all of that in mind, have you considered diving deeper once more and doing entrepreneurs who are veterans who are female? Has that shift to that deeper dive in your
Further
niche?
niche down.
Right. Have you considered that yet?
Um, Not at this point.
Okay.
I think because it's because I think maybe please correct me if I'm wrong, but like I was thinking, okay, entrepreneurs, and I'm niching down to veterans, which is already a smaller pool, and then if I niche down even more to females, that's even a smaller pool. So that's why I was kind of like, okay, I don't want to limit myself too much or scale down too. But
the reason I asked that is because
yeah.
I was going to suggest the inverse, to focus solely on male veteran entrepreneurs. There's a lot of female coaches out there who only work with females. And there's not a lot of female coaches who work just with males. I've actually saw this with, there was a lawyer out in Arizona, I think it was, and she was a divorce attorney, and she ended up getting into a position where she only supported the father in the situation of divorce, right? And so through the course of 20 years of doing that, she found that more rewarding long term. So that's why I was wondering if that might be the direction to go, because realistically, you're looking at, a whole lot of men with, quite frankly, a lot of ego issues. So I would think that would be an easy sell. That's all.
No, and that's a fantastic suggestion. And when I've been doing my sessions, and I think just when you look at the military in general, it always like 70-30 when it comes to male and female ratio, depending on whichever branch you're in. And so by default, when you're talking about veteran-owned businesses, it is a majority of males,
Right.
And I think that's just kind of how it ends up being,
It does, and that's just, it's one of those sectors of life, and that's how the demographics map themselves. So yeah, I thought that would be a decent suggestion, because there's not much of that type of specialized support that I've seen. I could not be looking in the right place, and I could not be looking for this type of service at all to begin with, which might also skew some of that. But based on what I've seen, I haven't seen too many people focusing in that sector. So, and I know out of the tribe that we're in, it's mostly male. So just that alone,
Yeah, and you know what? Help. You bring a fantastic point, Jared, because when I went through my certification process, and I know the coaching community that I'm involved in, I think, as far as I am aware, that I know of, I think I'm the only female veteran high performance coach within this community, and there's 3 or 4 other males that have served that are also advertising their services within the veteran community. But I think, I am, unless I'm mistaken, the only female.
That says a lot, though.
That does says, yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So, and then when you talk about that, I'm just thinking, there's like 3 or 4 other guys that are also military veterans advertising, their services within the veteran community for their coaching services, but they're males. And so, yeah.
If that's the case, have you considered forming a partnership with these other 4 and pooling resources and attacking the problem as a collective instead as an individual?
I've supported and kind of just reached out to some of my other colleagues, and I think they're in their world, and I'm like, you know what, that's cool. Yeah. I'll support you because there's way more than enough people for everybody. And I don't have a competitive mindset. It's not like this is my community, hands off. It's like there's more than enough. There's no way I could take on, millions of veterans.
Right. Well, the reason I mentioned that is because if you created a single brand and all of you were under that same brand, you could potentially bring in other people into that coaching program, bring them into your brand, and expand your network reach within the group. That sounded like a decent concept to put out there. So that's why I did.
Yeah.
In terms of actually, like, what's your process for getting clients? How does that work?
So over the past couple of months, most of my business has come from word of mouth or referral. I've become more and more visible within the community, within the veteran entrepreneur community. And so some of my clients have been generated from word of mouth mostly, and offering, I don't do it anymore, but I was offering free, coaching sessions, to gain more credibility and feedback, and more referrals. And because I feel like coaching is based on a word of mouth as opposed to a service where it's just like, yeah, I'm going to get my hair cut. I know what to expect. Coaching has such a varied results because everybody has different results, and so
everybody does something different,
yeah.
And everyone's own personal experiences are different, and the results are different. So, excuse me, no two coaches can produce the exact same result.
Exactly. Yeah. And so that's been some of my clients. I have created some opt-in leads, some lead generation tools, in the form of ebooks and quizzes. And I'm going to prepare a webinar and do a webinar here in a couple of weeks in the middle of September.
Nice.
So those are different lead generation ideas that that I have going out.
Okay. For these ebooks, how are you actually putting them out there?
So for right now, I'm doing non-paid. So I've just put it in within all the Facebook groups that I'm a part of. I, have put it in with
you actually uploaded it as a file?
Yeah.
Okay.
So not like as a file in the Facebook group, but I, do a post and it has a link, like click here to download. And so you click on the link, you opt in so I can get your email address. And then when you opt in, then you get your ebook and then you're part of my email sequence.
Nice.
Yeah.
Because it sounded like you're just uploading the files, and I was just going to tell you exactly that. So
yeah, and then the whole purpose
definitely
is
on the right track.
Yeah, and then
so
I'm sorry.
So that's for your ebooks. That's how you get those out there, is through that landing page opt-in process.
Yeah.
Okay. And for your webinar that's coming down the pipe next month, how are you generating leads for that?
So I think I'm going to do a combination of paid and non-paid methods. So non-paid, of course, just through Facebook and LinkedIn, and just promote the crap out of that, and then entertain Facebook ads, and just set a small budget for that, and just maybe do that a week leading up, and not spend too much money. But that's kind of what I was playing around with.
So what's the premise of the webinar? What's it for?
So the webinar is to promote, to do a 3-hour coaching with me. And so, so I offer, I'm sorry.
Okay. The whole webinar is give me money?
The whole webinar is to provide value.
Which is?
Value, which is, sharing some of the secrets of the high performers, so sharing. So at least, if you attended the webinar, you would walk away with some implementation tools if you chose not to move forward in coaching with me. But at least you can walk away with something.
So the webinar is to learn about the background, to get some tools, and potentially move up to the next level of paying for services, right?
Right.
Okay. Have you considered running a contest for, you said you don't do a 1-hour consultation anymore, right?
Right. I do 3-hour coaching.
Okay. Have you considered doing, for the build-up of the webinar, put it on an ad where they opt in to be put in for a drawing to get a free 1-hour coaching session? That way I would actually do the full 3 hours. Like, if that's what you do, I would do the full 3 hours and give like up to 5 of them away for free, and just blast the shit out of it to get some traction. Because what that's going to do is you're going to build your list quite significantly with that. And that's before you even start focusing on the webinar. Do that. So you got people who have interest, and then advertise to them for the webinar.
So I understand what you're saying. Advertise that I'm giving away a free 3-hour
3-hour session. Yes.
And then
use that list of people to advertise for the webinar.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Right. Because how many people want free shit?
Everybody.
Right. Fucking everyone. Yeah. I take free shit all the time too. I'm ain't no shame in my game. But that's the point. You're building that interest. You're gaining the people who you need to get in front of through that concept. And from there, that's going to help you grow a better webinar base of clientele, because then you'll be put in front of people who are actually interested. And then when you get into the webinar, there's more, I don't know how it's structured or how it's run, but normally there would be more engagement, more interest, more potential to close.
Okay. That's a great idea.
Thank you.
I just partnered up with other coaches that are outside of the high performance area, and we did a giveaway kind of similar to what you're talking about. So we gave away prizes. We all partnered up. It was about 5 or 6 of us, and we got a good chunk of people that generated interest. We walked away with close to about 200 emails each, which was fantastic.
Yes.
So it's very similar to that concept.
It is.
Can create something like that.
Definitely. Yeah, and that's what you I mean, you can do the same thing with your ebook. Don't put it out there in a group. Run it through the ad. Free download. Everyone else is already doing it, so people are already expecting to have to put in their email address to get something free. People are already looking for that opportunity cost decision as soon as they click on it. So you could run that in your ads as well.
Yeah. And I think that's what Stephen Kuhn had suggested, because I had 4 different, I think the challenge that I have is generating traffic to my website. So right. I was like, I have an ebook, I have this quiz, I have this webinar coming up, and then I have like something else I can't think of right now. And
do you have an actual book?
I do, like a physical book, yes, but it's not really related to high performance coaching. It's related to coaching, but it's prior to me becoming certified in high performance coaching, I did a certification in like spiritual and transformational coaching. So talking about law of attraction and that kind of stuff. Okay. So it's on Amazon. So yeah. It's a good book. It's not, but I've not really promoted it a lot.
The reason that I ask is because the world of coaching has a very small list of options for how to get exposure, right? You write a book, you build a course, you get on Forbes and every media outlet possible, and that's pretty much it. And then at that point, you start teaching other people to have their own book and course. So that's like the cycle every time, right? So if you already have a book and you said you have a program, but that is also a predefined program for the most part through your certification, right?
The program that I got certified in, yes, but I don't have like a course or anything like that now.
Right. So the program that you use is much of the same program that you were trained in.
Yes.
Okay. Right. So do you have any potential to modify that program to make it your own?
I can. And if I do, then I can't use high performance. I can't use high performance coaching because of the legality. So to further explain,
you can't take their stuff, make your own, and still use their name.
Right. You can't do that.
Got it. Okay. So, but you're still allowed to go create your own course and leave their network.
I could. Yes. Yeah, okay. I definitely could. I could, with all the things that I've learned and done and read, I could create my own course. I could use bits and pieces of what the course is. And if I do that, then it's no longer it's no longer high performance coaching. It's Judy's coaching program.
Got it.
you know. So
Right.
that's, yeah.
So when we're talking about, you said you needed traffic. Uh, when we're talking about traffic, it only comes in a few forms, right? Um, Word of mouth and referrals is one way that it's going to come, but the traffic to your website primarily comes from Google search and social media every time. There is some possibility for other options, but that's basically where everything comes from. So the two areas that you would want to focus on to boost your traffic are specifically advertising and SEO, right? The advertising is getting people to your site fast. The SEO is the long game, getting quality people to you over the course of time. Those two combined is basically how you get traffic. So the way that you approach those is two very different ways. Naturally, with SEO, you have a myriad of crap to do. That's going to entail writing blog posts, doing videos, repurposing content across all social media. All of that type of stuff is exactly what you're going to want to do to build that organic traffic through social media and through a regular Google search. It's not a small undertaking. It's not. I'm not going to lie to you and say, oh, yeah, you can fucking do it in a day. No. No, it's a shit ton of shit. It really is. And then what platform is your website built on?
Kajabi.
Kajabi? Okay. I have no fucking clue.
Okay.
So, yeah, I have no clue what to do or how to answer and help any type of SEO things with that. But what I will do is if you, I will look it up after this call. I'll dig a little bit into that because I've actually never built something on Kajabi. I know a lot of people who have, and I know a lot of people who promote it. I've just never done it. So I can't give you advice on something I've never done.
Right.
So, but ideally you want to figure out what keywords people are searching for. Right. So a really simple and easy place to go for that is trends.google.com. Google Trends. You plug in a few different search criteria and you can see exactly what people are searching. So for me, for the digital space, I would search like web design, web development, SEO, PPC, which is, or pay-per-click marketing, right? Those type of things is what I would search. And then what's going to happen is it's going to give you a 0 to 100 factor to tell you exactly how much that information is being searched over the course of 12 months.
Okay.
It's also going to give you, for each keyword that you put in there, it's going to give you 50 search results. Search terms is the actual word. So 50 of the best combinations of words to use for your SEO, for that blog post, for that page, right? So it's going to give you the top grossing and the highest improvement, 25 of each. So if you put in coaching, performance, give me 5 words.
Yeah. So I do coaching, life coach, high performance coach. I could do veteran entrepreneur, veteran, military, and that would be 5 right there.
Okay. So you want to take all of those search terms, plug them in, and it's going to tell you exactly what people are searching for. Exactly. I did this with Tammy recently. I showed her how to use it, and it was pretty awesome. She had never heard of it before. And I plugged in the words like junk, hoarding, and some other stuff. And we realized that actually hoarding was only being searched about at a level of about 19 or 20. And junk was at like 80. And this is on a scale to 100. right? So you can go look at her stuff now. I guarantee you she's using the word junk because it's significantly more visible.
And so the key is, so let's say, so I go to this website.
The whole premise of this is to find out what people are looking for so you can give it to them. Right? That's it. If you know what people are searching for on Google, you can provide that content. You can answer that question. You can be that resource.
Right.
So it's Google, website. And in between you have this resource of tracking what everyone's searching. Right? So with this information, you can put yourself right after it. So now it's not Google resource website, it's Google resource you, everyone else.
Okay.
So you're injecting yourself in between that because you're looking at exactly what people are looking for and you're applying that exactly to your website.
Using those words that are highly searched.
Yes.
Into my website, into my blogs, all that stuff. Okay.
Right. That is the simplest keyword strategy that you can use, and it's super effective. Right? The easiest way to make money in business is to give people what they want.
Yeah.
Give people what they're looking for. And it's no different with this in terms of what people are looking for on the internet. So that's the simplest SEO strategy that I can give you to really start building some traffic organically. There's still a whole lot of other things, with your coaching. I presume that you have a local base, and you probably can also do this nationally or globally, right?
I don't have like a storefront, if that's what you're referring to, but it's all online.
Right, but you live somewhere, so you have a city near you, right?
Right now, yes. Given that I just moved, but yes.
Where'd you move to?
I'm in the country in Arkansas. Like, I literally it's in a small town called Falk, which is 30 minutes from the Texas and Arkansas border. It's an hour from
down by Texarkana.
Yeah, by Texarkana.
Okay. Yeah, I was born in Arkansas and I lived there for a couple of years as well.
Okay. Yeah, the biggest city. I'm an hour from Shreveport. Shreveport's like a good city.
Got it. Okay.
So like I'm literally in the sticks, but
well, yeah, but like Little Rock's not that far from you.
2 hours.
Yeah, it's not too bad. But still, you can still target those people, but I don't know if that will yield the best results. But Dallas is still a couple hours the other direction, so that's not too bad.
No, a friend of mine, one of my other mentors, she works in the media. She had suggested, to target military bases. So if I looked at California, I looked at Virginia,
10 miles outside of every base.
Yeah, and I looked at, let's say, Texas, because those are the 3 big states where it has a huge military and veteran community. Mm-hmm. So she's like, let's start with those 3 big and then go from there.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, anything, take every base, I guess we'll say every large base, right? Every large base, everything within 5 miles, you're going to have somebody easily.
Yeah.
Right. So when it comes time for advertising, that's exactly what you want to do. You want to target those zip codes specifically and do like a 5-mile radius. Because you already know what people in the military make. If you're targeting active duty service members, you know exactly what they make, so you can target revenue. If they're business owners, you can try to target them through different likes that they have on their Facebook pages and stuff like that. On LinkedIn, I'm sure you probably heard how to use the sales navigator within that. That's pretty awesome. It's the most annoying thing I've ever seen because I get people messaging me and I'm like, okay, cool, let's talk, and then they never respond. So if you're going to be using that, at least use it appropriately, but still, I mean, there's a whole lot of resources out there. So is traffic like the big problem that you have, the only problem?
Um, that was one of the problems. That was one of the issues where I was like, okay, how do I get more traffic?
Right.
And I think the other thing, I love to write, and what I
Okay.
write, I feel like, oh, this is awesome. And then when I kind of put it out there and kind of get some feelers or some feedback,
Doesn't
and
work the same.
not so much, not so much of a feedback, and then
Is
I've
what
just,
is
like,
what you're writing specific to what you do?
so if I use this ebook, for example, so I wrote this ebook talking
Okay.
about the 5 hidden military skills for to be a successful entrepreneur.
Okay.
And I highlighted the beyond the technical skills that we learn in the military. So it was kind of like the skills that we all learn, but we don't really know that we have them. So I was kind of like highlighting that. And then some of the landing pages that I've written, some of the copy that I'm writing. So I've like, okay, I need to get better at my copywriting. And
Right.
so, working on that skill. So I think that was probably just kind of,
So
yes.
copy's a huge, huge
Yeah.
thing. And I actually don't do copy for a lot of reasons. Most notably because you have to do a whole lot of research so for example, if I was going to write copy for your website, I had to learn everything about your website. I'd have to know you, I'd have to know your business inside and out. That's what it's going to take for me to write copy.
Right.
Right. And that's a whole lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And I don't have time to do that kind of research. So
no. And I enjoy writing, and so I went back and redid it, and we're back and redid it, and we're back
okay.
like that too.
So I mean, it sounds like you probably could enroll in some type of a copywriting course to learn how to mold that better for you. And that's because I only say that because you said you like to write.
Yeah.
If you didn't like to write, I wouldn't say it. Like, I don't like to write, but I can write, which is crazy. But at the same time, I don't write copy. So
no,
it's really crazy.
I actually did enroll in a copywriting course. It's on Udemy, and it's like one of the best-selling copywriting courses. And so, like I said, I'm like, okay, I need to get better at copywriting. I need to take a course and work on this.
Can I ask what you paid for it?
Oh, it was in pounds, so I don't really remember.
Was it over or under $20?
Maybe like 40 something. Maybe it wasn't too expensive.
So I've Udemy, they will run. Yeah, Udemy, they run. They run sales like crazy. They run sales all the time. Like, I've bought a $200 course for $10, right? So yeah. I just wait for those moments until they get to that rate, and then I buy them as needed. So that's something to look at. But yes, we're getting off track here. But they're actually they are a very good resource for hyper focusing on an area.
Yeah.
So that copywriting is definitely going to be good. Another area it sounds like you might want to look at is probably your brand message. So the reason that copywriting is hard is potentially because you might not have a defined message. So let's go through the motions on this one. So you've identified who the customer is. So we'll pick one. Entrepreneur that's a veteran. Do you have any type of business level requirements, revenue requirements, anything like that? Or is it just basically blasted it out there for anyone who wants to be a part of it or wants to do better?
I've not got, no, I don't have like a specific revenue or income, so yeah, your second option, just kind of just offering my services out there for people who are interested.
Got it. Okay. So how would you word it to say, well, I guess for your ideal customer, we actually call this in marketing culture, your avatar,
right?
The perfect customer. So for that avatar, what's their problem? Specifically, pick one problem.
Specifically, I would say They, I would say that
Don't focus on all of it. Don't worry about.
I know there's so much that I'm like.
There's so much shit out there. Don't worry about it.
I would say
we're just gonna focus on one, right?
Yeah.
So just pick one.
They're not generating success fast enough.
What the problem you're going to have with that right off the gate is what is success? And the way that everyone talks about success is that success is something that you determine for yourself. So is that something that you can use as a tangible factor to pull people in?
No, from what you're saying, not so much, because
right. That's some feel good shit. You could use that in some feel good arenas, but you want to start with tangible stuff.
Right.
Okay, so what is one thing that's tangible that you can help with, right? So for me personally, I got sleep problems. I don't like to sleep. Well, that's not true. I like to sleep. I don't like to go to bed at a decent hour, and therefore I don't like to wake up at a decent hour. That's tangible, right? So what type of stuff like that? Because what you're talking about is personal development, right? So
yeah,
what's one of those factors you can use to pull somebody in as a client?
I think what I had put on the front of my website. So if I use one of those examples, would be like minimizing distractions to increase productivity, and that is
okay.
All right, I could get that.
And all right, so minimizing distractions. Laser focusing in on what it is you want to do. So that actually also falls under time management, because to an extent it falls under time management, because if you're managing your time, then you're not even allowing yourself to be distracted. That's how that's supposed to work, but not always the case. Okay, so for managing distractions, or minimizing is the word used, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so for minimizing distractions, what's the answer that you have for people? What is your solution to solve that problem?
So one of the things that I work with clients is like time blocking would be time blocking to help minimize distractions.
Okay, time blocking. So if you have distractions, then you can minimize them by time blocking. Okay, if I want to learn about time blocking, who do I call?
Call me.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's how you have to frame everything. The customer has a problem, you have a solution, and you give them a call to action. So everything that's surrounding that is under what's called the story brand framework. I'm not I am not certified or affiliated with StoryBrand. No, they're not paying me. I don't pay them. None of that shit like that. But their framework is phenomenal. It's amazing. I actually had no intentions of doing any type of branding whatsoever. And then I read their book. And their book's so awesome. I'm like, well, I can't get away from it. Like, it's that good. So you definitely want to look into that. They actually have a free story brand builder software on mystorybrand.com. So if you buy their book, I bought their book for like $10. I was building a story brand. So if you buy that book and you read it, it'll go through each of the 7 steps. It'll tell you exactly what this is, how to use it, and then you go into the website and type all that in. That way you have something tangible that you can pull this up to. And that's the whole premise of that, is to put your brand and your solution in the form of story.
Okay.
That's what the purpose of all that is, because everyone likes a story. And in order to sell more, you have to tell a better story. You ever heard the phrase of someone saying, the best salesman has the best story, or some stuff like that? I don't know what the exact phrase is, but that's the way people talk. And that's because the story is what sells.
I think I remember, I think you've mentioned this book before.
I have been
for your counsel. Yeah.
Quite a bit. And that's because it's really that amazing. It really is.
Okay. I will get the book. I'm a book junkie.
Awesome. I would be more of a Kindle junkie because I don't get the physical books, but still. So the reason all of that matters, right, is because you can take that book, you can take that story brand that you built for your company, and then you can make sure that your copy for your website, for your email, aligns with that message. That message, having that message written out, is what's going to help you maintain consistency. So whenever you write something on your website, if it doesn't match that, go fix it.
Right.
So when you have all of your thoughts in this structured format, when you have your message concise and consistent, that makes you look better. It helps you sell better. So that's just for the copy of your website. You can do it in your emails as well. You can really apply this to everything.
Yeah.
And so think of every problem that a customer could have, and you can create a story brand for every problem, right? So minimize distractions, sleep issues, unable to focus, every problem you could think of, you can put it into a story brand framework. So that way, when you're looking to promote yourself under these services, you can match that message and maintain consistency. So, for example, if you were to write a list of, if you were to write out all of your service pages, right, for each one of these problems, and then run an ad for each one of these problems, and then have a landing page that takes them from the service page to like the sign up area, and all of that sounds like it's the same company, all of that message is the same across all three of them, that's the probability of you actually closing more with that. Just that alone is significantly higher.
Okay. Because you're kind of coming on different angles to different people, but it's all kind of falling to the same place.
Not only that, it's not only falling. I mean, when you look at sales, it's an actual funnel.
Right.
Right. But that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the actual message itself.
Okay.
Right. Because if over here you say, 1 + 1, over here you say X + Y, they're going to be like, well, that's not the same thing. Why are you saying something different over here? It's going to create confusion in your customer base. And you want to reduce that confusion. You want to remove it completely by simplifying everything and staying on message.
Okay.
It's a lot to go through, that's for sure. You're not going to do that in a day.
No.
Because you have to really focus on and think about what does this mean to the customer, right? What's the customer's true problem? Is it that they want to have more success, or is it that they want to make more money? If it is that have success, what are these key wickets that people choose to quantify their success? Maybe you could target those specific areas instead of success. There's a whole lot you can do there.
Yeah.
And I think just even taking all of that and putting it into like blog content is, you're never going to stop running out of stuff to write about. That's for sure.
Yeah. And I think that's kind of it. When you asked me that question, I was like, well, they could have problems in this area or this area or this area or this area, because it's so broad that
Yes.
You could come at it at different ways, but essentially, the coaching can help in all areas.
Right.
So
But the problem that you have is you have too many options available. You have too many areas, too many avenues that you can attack, and you're trying to attack them all at once, and you don't want to do that. Pick one, attack one. When that one is rolling well, pick another one, attack the second.
Okay. So narrow down, from what I understand, you're saying just narrow down one specific
Right.
one.
So the
Really
first one you
nail
said
that.
was minimizing distractions. Go 110% on minimize distractions. Dominate, minimize distractions.
I see. Okay.
Once that's there, then you could add the next piece.
Okay. That makes more sense.
Right. I mean, you can pick any one of the 1,000 options that there are.
Yeah.
But if you're the expert for dominating or for minimizing distractions, you're the expert for that.
Okay.
I mean,
And
you
then-
only need 3 of those areas to conquer the world. That's it. 3.
Yeah. And that's pretty much the top 3 that I have on the front of my website. Minimizing distractions, enhancing your wellness, and
Well, what's wellness? Wellness is still too vague.
So vague.
I mean, that sounds like you're about to pull out some chiropractor videos on me.
Yeah.
Anytime I think of wellness, I think like alternative medicine. It sounds like you want to just check your list again, see what you can do. And here's where shit comes full circle, right? You ready for this? I think you're gonna like this.
Okay.
Right. So you said you had 5 people, 5 veterans coming out of that class, right? That got certified?
Oh, yeah. My other colleagues. Yeah.
Got it. So if each one of you attacks 3 different ones, you can cover 15 areas under one brand.
That's interesting.
It's not interesting. It's gangster shit.
Yeah.
Right. So if you apply that same level of focus to 3 areas and each one of you picks a different area, but you're all under the same hood, that's how you corner the market. That's how a lion attacks a gazelle. I'm not saying you have to, but I mean, if you're looking at overall total growth, building a network like that is insanely powerful.
Yeah. No, that's a good point. Yeah. I have to think about that. Yes. I'm sorry. I'm writing notes and I'm thinking. Sorry.
Yeah, no. It really is some next level shit right there. Because then you're not focusing on, well, at that point, you become a team, right? At that point, you're a squad on the same vector, right? You might have different expertises within that, right? So just think of a fire team, like a normal squad fire team. You've got gunners, you've got mortarmen, you've got riflemen. Just right there, that's 3 different types of people in a squad. So if everyone has a different specialty within that sector, then you can all dominate as a team.
Yeah.
And that needs to go in your next ebook.
How to dominate. How to dominate.
Yes. Not to be confused with dominatrix, just dominate. Yes. The other
how to dominate, fill in the blank.
Yeah. Do you dominate? What? No. so much bad can go there. Anyway, yeah, I mean, just the possibilities are endless. And what really needs to happen is that level of focus needs to be there. You really got to hone in on what you're going to do and how you're going to do it. And that focus is what's going to bring that clarity.
Yeah. I have no problem with focus.
Yeah.
Definitely not.
So take all of that and then looking at the ads side of the house, whenever you can run ads on, Facebook and Google and do great. Actually, when I run ads, I do generic ads on Google, and I do like hyper specific, super targeted ads on Facebook. I know a guy, he's a marketer. This guy will run an ad for one zip code with a 1 mile radius of a CEO's house. Like that's what he does.
Wow.
Yeah. So he'll just blast content straight down the CEO's throat and his surrounding people. Yeah.
And it works, obviously.
It works.
He's doing it.
Yeah, it works like crazy. So there's options everywhere. So it's not a matter of can you do it, it's a matter of will you do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So at that point, the only problem becomes what's your budget for advertising.
Right.
Realistically, if you're advertising for anything less than $50, you're probably wasting money. That's yeah. I mean,
Is there, I guess it depends on whatever it is that I'm advertising, but would you think there's like a sweet spot and time frame of running an ad?
It depends on the purpose, right? So I normally start with about $50 a month for advertising as a general long-term type of ad, right? And that's not to, the purpose of that is to just get it out there, to get more long-term content, or not content, get more interactions with the page. They don't even have to do anything as long as they click that see more button. They're interacting, right? So that's why you always want to make sure your ad is written as a long post, because they have to click on that see more to read whatever's left. And that right there is an engagement. You can retarget them later. Yeah, it's all strategy. But honestly, I mean, I can create an ad, and I can target people. That plugging in that information is easy. It's having the information and writing the copy. That's always been the pain in the butt for me. So that's why I typically promote foundational stuff first. But I don't know if he wants me to tell him, but Justin Charpentier, that guy.
Yeah.
He's like an ad monster. So that's the only thing that he does is ads.
Yeah.
So I've talked to him quite a bit, and I've just got to a point now where I'm just sending everyone who needs ads, go to that guy.
Go to that guy.
Like,
yeah. He was running a beta group. His Facebook group.
Yeah. He's that good. Like, there's no point to really go anywhere else. So
yeah. No, he's no, that's good. And that's kind of like what Stephen had suggested, like I said, to run ads on certain things just to drive a little bit more traffic and to kind of get some more momentum going than what I have going on right now, which is the non-paid stuff. And I'm like, okay, let's go.
Yeah. I mean, that's the same thing I'm doing right now, but I'm focusing purely on organic. I personally refuse to run ads unless I have a reason to.
Right.
So that's what I do. I used to do them, but I don't anymore, because it costs money to make money.
Yeah.
And normally with ads, if setting up a basic ad is easy. Anybody can set up a basic ad, but when you're doing anything of importance, you definitely want to make sure you have the right people working that. And so that's where I always end up. I would always get good traffic, but I'd also end up paying a lot for it. So that's why I stopped doing it.
Yeah. And other people, I'm part of another business group to kind of help me get more, to understand how to grow my business and things like that too. And one of the biggest things that they share is don't go for the paid ads because it can get expensive. And if you're just starting out, that's probably not the best idea. You still have to kind of do these other non-paying ways, do it like an ebook.
You got to build a base. You got to establish a baseline, right?
Before you start doing ads.
And part of that is to establish that proof of concept, right? If you've never proven that your product or service is going to sell, then you probably want to start there first. But at the same time, if you have a legit ad agency who does some serious work, I wouldn't say it's a bad idea to bring them on board. Like, if you have someone with a proven track record that's gangster as shit, call that motherfucker and give them every penny you got. And the reason for that is because if they're that good with ads, they're going to go make you money.
Right.
So at that point, your focus needs to be on the sale, the close, and retention. So it really depends on how you want to approach things.
Yeah.
So you could approach things from the ad side and get a shit. You know, we could pull in like 1,000 people within a week, have them all funnel through your email system. Now you're pumping out emails to them automatically, you know, and we can also funnel those same people into the next ad and into the next ad. So it's not a bad practice. There's just a lot of people. Oh, excuse me. There's a lot of people who are not that good at it and say they are, which is the problem.
Right.
So if you do have somebody that's good and actually can do some gangster shit with it, then yeah, if you got the money, spend it, because their purpose is to make you money.
Yeah. And I don't think I'm just quite there yet. I've run Facebook ads before in the past. And I loved it because when I wrote my first book on Amazon, you know, I did a Facebook ad to promote it because it was free for a certain amount of time, and then it was like 99 cents. You know, that's what Amazon Kindle does whenever you publish a self-publish on KDP. And so I ran a Facebook ad and I targeted different countries, and I just was, you know, and I think I loved the analytic part of it. And that's where I was just like, oh, okay, well, this works, and I know what to do next time. So it's always a trial and error.
Facebook analytics are some of the best I've ever seen. They really are. It's hard to get away from that because it's so good. So, yeah, I mean, running ads is definitely going to do you some justice, especially if you do it right. But it's not the best solution for everyone every time.
Right.
Right. So it's kind of important to note that.
Yeah, and I think $50 is a decent budget, and not to go over that. You know, per month is not so bad. It's just enough to kind of get
like
things going.
30 to 50 is a decent starting place.
Yeah.
I actually put my last time I ran ads, I was doing like $35 on Google, and I just tagged the high volume keywords. So even that is, you know, I'm pretty sure everyone can afford $30 a month. So, excuse me. Well,
Awesome. No, that's really great stuff. And I think definitely it'll give me a good starting point in terms of trial and error and testing and split testing, and kind of just seeing, okay, what you know, out of these 4 methods that I want to run an ad on, which is the most responsive, and things like that too.
Right.
Not running all of them at the same time, but just.
Well, if I'm not mistaken, Justin has that in through his group. Are you in his Facebook group?
Yeah.
Justin Sharptier. Okay.
Yeah.
So his group, I know I just saw it the other day where they were talking about like learning how to build this type of content. I'm not sure on specifics. I know he does gangster shit with it.
Yeah.
So.
I should probably pay a little bit more attention.
Yeah. I'm not sure because I've talked to him a lot offline as well. So it's hard to decipher the difference between what's popped up in a group and what I've talked to him offline about. So out there somewhere is something on how to do something. That's what I'm going to say.
That's great advice.
Yes. That's worth $1 million. Yes.
You should do something about that something.
Yes, sometime. That's right. That's right. It sounds like I'm writing a Dr. Seuss book. Shit.
No.
Okay.
Awesome. I think those are. I feel like those are the keywords. I think that will definitely be a huge change because I used to write blogs a few years ago, and I love to write, like I said, and I do have a blog on my website, and I did a keyword analysis, so I just input my blog post on this, they don't have it up anymore or something like that. I think that, probably you have to pay for it, of course. But it was just like an analyzer, and it just, if you put in this one keyword, it just gave you the percentage of, anyway, it doesn't matter.
It would see if your content was SEO ready.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think I really understood how important it was then, but I know it's really important that, right now, if I want to grow, and I am looking into what you had mentioned earlier. Not only do I do blog posts, but just looking into, publications, where can I contribute my content, get my name more and more out there, increasing my visibility, and all that other SEO stuff. So, and I know that SEO is a factor in that.
It
so I'm
is
being a little bit more strategic.
And also with SEO, you have you have something called a backlink.
Yeah.
And so when you do guest blog posts on like Medium and Forbes and areas like that, you can put your website out there, and that'll make a connection to your website. So, Forbes, if you write a blog post for Forbes, that's huge, right? So that's going to just blow you out the water right there.
Yeah.
And they're definitely going to be using SEO like crazy on their whole site. So that's going to also promote you for those same keywords as well. So basically, you kind of look at all of those SEO factors, not just writing blog posts for yourself, but getting out there in the world, right? Getting on news channels, doing other podcasts, right? This is cool and all, but this is for me to help you. This is not for you to get your name out there.
Right.
Right. So that's the type of focus you want to look at as well, because in your sector of the world, getting out in front of the media is going to be everything. Right. It's not just that book or that coaching program. You got to get your face out there. You got to get known. You basically have to become like a celebrity within the coaching world to really grow and scale to that level.
Yeah.
So there's a couple of people that you can probably contact and kind of gauge and see what's what and how they can actually get your name out there and stuff. So the first one, Rob Garcia, Dr. Rob, warrior strategist. Everyone in the veteran community fucking knows that guy. But everyone in the tribe knows that guy. I'll put it like that. Right. So for those of you who don't know who this is Dr. Rob Garcia, the warrior strategist. He has, he has an offering where he can put you out there for media appearances, right? Which is really great, especially if that's within your budget to do that. It's phenomenal. Another thing that he has is a program, a course called Tactical CEQ. And the whole premise of this is to basically make you a celebrity within your industry. So if I'm not getting paid for this, but I probably should be. So I'm going to put that out there. I'll make sure to tag him. So definitely he's a good resource. Another person you can talk to is Abigail Sinclair. She can also do some PR work and get your name out there and get you on some shows as well. So those two are the ones that I would recommend for that. I've talked to both of them. I've known Rob for at least a couple years now. He's always delivered a high value in everything he does. So it's you can't go wrong. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I've actually seen some of his Facebook posts and I've saved them. And I was like, I got to go back and listen to this. And I know he has a magazine called Shift. Yep. And so, he's got a small team, he's got a magazine and other things. Yeah. And so I am familiar with his name and his work, but I don't think I've actually reached out to him and
I'm like the past couple of months, I've just been on almost all of his lives and just talking shit the whole time. See if I can see if I can make him twitch. He hates it, but it's hilarious. He'll be all serious. Yes, do this on your. Yeah, I know. And he'll see my name and he'll just ignore it sometimes. I can tell.
It's Jared again.
Yeah, I know. There's been an entire episode that he did where he did not acknowledge me at all the entire time. Really? Yeah. So I took it upon myself to say the most fucked up things I could during that time because of that. All right, you want to play? Let's play. But still,
yeah. But you know what? You can do stuff like that, with people. You can not with everybody, but there's certain people you can get away with that because it is just it's the community. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And that's what I like about being where I am, right? I'm all for growth and shit like that. But eventually, if I grow too much, I'm going to move up to that next tier. And then people are going to expect me to be different.
Yeah.
And then I'm not going to be different because, fuck you guys. So then I'm going to be surrounded with people who are all uptight and assholes and shit. I don't want to do that. So.
You don't have to.
I don't have to. That's right. I can stay where I'm at and make $1 million. What's up, bitch?
And
that's the reality of it. So, yeah, no, I just live on Facebook talking shit to everyone.
Yeah, and that's okay. And that's how you. That's why I was like, hey, I got to talk to this guy because he talks a lot of crap.
Yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah,
we all have our own style.
Yeah.
So you definitely don't want to replicate that in your blog post, though, because that would be bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna do that.
No worries.
What was that course that you said? I'm sorry. Tactical what?
It's a CEQ. That's Charlie Echo Tango.
CEQ, not T. Charlie Echo Tango.
Sorry, Quebec.
Okay.
Yeah, I spotted kids in my rear view at the same time when I was trying to. Yeah, Charlie Echo Quebec. Yeah.
Okay.
It's Chief Executive Quotient or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah. And
I probably should ask, but the whole premise of that course is to basically is to make you your own little, like, basically celebrity mindset is what that's for.
I see. That makes sense.
Yeah. And so in coaching, that's highly useful, right? Because you're going to have to get out there, there's going to be times where you could dress down like me right now, right? Keep calm T-shirts and shit. And there's going to be times where you're going to have to dress up, look fancy and, try to do some shit like Rob's, like his cheese and crackers nights or something like that. I don't know.
I can do.
Yeah, but I mean, there's times where you gotta dress up, and there's times where you can be relaxed. But at the same time, everything that you're doing needs to laser focus in on that growth and catching people's attention and shit like that. And so that course is probably going to be pretty awesome for you through the realm of coaching. So if you couple that with writing a book and building a course, that all of that collectively is insanely powerful.
Yeah, no, I understood. In order to position myself, obviously, as an authority figure in this space, I knew it was important for me to increase my visibility through writing. So contributing to different sources, like you had mentioned, Medium and, other places, which was like Addicted to Success. And so I have a list of like military and non-military magazines that I can contribute and be like, okay, how can I get...
Well, not just magazines, even a website that has a big following.
Yeah.
Right? Like I've never seen a Task and Purpose magazine, but they got a big ass website with a lot of people. Right. Same thing with like Stars and Stripes.
Yeah.
I've only seen like one actual actual newspaper that I could hold. And everything else has been online. So
and most of these magazines do now start to do online and they don't do print anymore. But that kind of like, okay, how do I do this and how can I do it strategically without,
well, sometimes you could reach out to these places yourself and you could just, apply to be part of it. Sometimes it's really that easy, but sometimes you need an intro done for you. And it's those times where you definitely want to make sure that you're working with someone like Robert or Abigail to really do that.
Right. And to build that.
Yeah, I'm actually checking to make sure I said her name right. That's so fucked up. I know. Yep, Abigail Sinclair. That's right.
Sinclair. I'll have to Facebook.
Dodged a bullet there.
She'll watch this and be like, "What is this?"
Yeah, just tag her and don't say anything. But it is what it is. I got a bad memory for shit like that, but I can remember all kinds of shit that I probably should never remember. So who knows?
Yeah.
Awesome. So, what else do you got? What else can we destroy, overcome? take on?
No, I think
Did we finish early?
it's like 6:30. Yeah. I mean, I feel like I have a pretty good handle on a lot of stuff. I think it's just kind of putting these things into play, into action, seeing what those
Right.
results are, changing them, altering, pivoting if I need to, and then kind of just keep
Okay.
moving forward.
So
So,
then I'll throw another one on there.
all right, I'm all ears.
So there's something that you also want to do, and that's you want to prioritize. Right. Itemize, prioritize. Everything that's on your fucking to-do list, make a list of one time, reoccurring, itemize both lists, prioritize both lists, and then start mapping out when you're going to do them. Anything that's reoccurring, you got to make sure that happens within that reoccurring timeline. So, for example, at a minimum, you want to check your SEO and fix everything at least once a month. That's like bare minimum. You probably want to check it every week and have an ongoing monitoring system for that. But anything less than once a month and you're just wasting your time. Well, let me rephrase that. Yeah, because that's an inverse. So 32 days and beyond, you're wasting your time. 30 days and below, you're doing good. Anything less than 7 days, you're doing great. Because you always have to know exactly where you're at. Right.
But when you say, help me understand, when you say check SEO, does that mean I have to go into that keyword Google website that you mentioned earlier? Or like, what does that look like when you say check SEO?
You want to use an SEO monitoring tool. There's a whole lot of them out there. If you're on a budget, you could probably use something like Nighthawk. It's like $50 a month. There's also some other ones that SEO professionals use that are out there. There's plenty of them. Again, if you're on WordPress, I could recommend specific shit. Other platforms can only do so much. And the fact that I've never used Kajabi on top of that really adds another layer of I can't help you right now. So I'll look at it later and then shoot you over some specifics on how you can apply SEO. I'm sure there's probably some articles out there, so I'll go find them and provide them to you.
Kajabi has like the Kajabi University or their help center and things like that too. So I would imagine that they would have.
Of course, everyone's got one of those. Yeah. So the problem is I don't have faith in people that much. So I'll give you an example. Fucking Squarespace has a forum. They have experts. They have circle members. They got everything you could ever need, except for answers.
Okay.
Anytime you go looking for answers, it's insanely hard to find them. I know because I built some shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I had used Squarespace way before I moved to Kajabi, but that was like eons ago. But
yeah, so I've built a lot of Squarespace websites, and so when I first started with the platform, I spent so much time just on Google just trying to find answers, because I had come from a WordPress Shopify environment where you can find an answer to almost any question you ever ask, right? And so it was it's pretty crazy, just scouring the internet and not finding answers. So I don't have a lot of faith in a lot of people, so that's because of that. But nonetheless, I'm still going to look. I'm still going to see what I can find. And
the monitoring tool.
For Kajabi specifically, I'll look stuff out there. But for an SEO monitoring tool, I actually know a lot of agencies that use like SEMrush, SEM Rush. I also know a lot of companies who use SEMrush, non-SEO professionals that use that. So that's probably the best bang for your buck tool. That's also simple enough for pretty much anyone to understand.
Okay.
It does have a lot of integrations built into it as well, but it's on that level of like SEO professional. So you probably get overwhelmed with it pretty quickly. if you're looking for something a little more simplified, you can try Nighthawk. I've played with that one a bit as well. It's a simplified version of all the other ones. It's just straight to the point. So it's worth trying out. And it's a whole lot cheaper too. So unfortunately, money plays a factor in decisions like this, but
It does.
if you're deciding on money, then go for the cheaper option. But if you're deciding on value, definitely the bigger option. So
yeah,
it's kind of where I draw that line.
Yeah, I think in this phase of my business, it's cheap but good to where it's just like, this is a waste of my money. But like, I'd rather invest in something where I'm like, okay, this is a good temporary solution for where I'm at right now until I start to generate more and more of an income to where I can upscale and grow more. So that's kind of where my mind is right now, in relation to everything, in relation to ads, in relation to any other extra tools to monitor my website. It's just like, okay, I'm still feeling like I'm in the beginner stage, but probably more than the average person who's just like, I don't even have a website. Like like I'm a little bit more advanced, but there's
step
still
one. Yeah.
I'm on like step 3.
Okay.
No, but like, something to where it is affordable to fit me in my phase of business right now until I get more of a consistent higher income to where I can up level. Right. And then at that point, obviously, more traffic, more eyes, we're going to need a bigger tool and things like that too.
Right. I mean, once you get to that point, you probably also need a dedicated person for that.
Yeah, I would have a team at that point too.
Yeah. That's the goal for everyone, I think, is to grow to that point where we can hire out some of our tasks and delegate, and then eventually just scale and dominate. So there's definitely nothing wrong with that. Yeah. My exit strategy is to eject myself from the company and still make money.
And still, that's everybody's. I mean, I would love to do that.
Right, because I don't have to sell to make money. I can just hire somebody to run it.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And you're just on the beach hanging out.
And a lot of what is in your pipeline, a lot of the capability that you can do a lot of that as well. Right. So you can build your own group. You could have people under you that moderate the groups for you. Mm-hmm. And then you just pop in every now and then.
Yeah.
You can do stuff like that, and then take that even a step further with some of your higher end stuff. You can do that as well. Where to the point where you're not actively doing everything.
Yeah, because I wouldn't have the bandwidth.
Right. Yeah. There's so much going on. You just need to focus on this one little thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I honestly was playing around with the idea of starting a Facebook group, and playing around with it. Not so much of like, yes, this is what I'm doing, but just playing around with it. And if I had the mental bandwidth and all this other stuff, but
I would actually put focus in. I would refocus your efforts to push the book and see if you could put another updated version out. Because that would give you. Yeah, I mean, how old's the book you have on Amazon?
Oh, I self-published that in the summer of 2018. The ebook that I just wrote,
that's a freebie though, right?
That's a freebie, and I wrote that like a month ago.
Okay.
But the Amazon book, I wrote that in the summer of 2018.
Okay. Well, we're 2 years later. Now you're certified under somebody else. How much more could you write?
That's a good question. I have to think about that.
Yeah. So I actually just finished this past weekend. I finished my book. I'm writing a book on email.
Yeah, I know. Like what, 26,000 words?
No, it's 31 plus right now. And it's awesome. It's in the first draft review, and it's probably gonna get expanded, maybe another 5,000 words. So, but still, like, I didn't realize how much I actually knew about the topic. So I've been using the email like my whole life, right? And I've been in my career for closing in on 15 years next month. And I had no clue how much I actually paying attention to how people write emails. I had no clue. All I knew is that I see an email and I see stupid shit all the time. That's what I know, right?
Yeah.
So when I started writing this book, I discovered within myself that I have systems in place for how I operate. Because of that, I put all those things out there in the book. I didn't even know I had anything in place for any of that.
Right.
Come to find out, over the course of 15 years, I've internalized an entire email system of writing emails. And the only reason this book is even here is because I jokingly said one day for like the 10th or 20th time, ha ha ha, I should write a book on email etiquette.
Boom.
Fucking Stephen Kuhn's like, hey, do it. We need this. I'm like, what? You're kidding me, right? Like, I'm just fucking joking. Like, I'm serious because I'm pissed off about it, but at the same time, I'm just fucking joking about it. He's like, nah, man, do it. I'm like, fuck. Now I got a book. Now I realize I have all of this shit in place, and I didn't even know it. Like 2 months ago, I had no fucking clue. And now, like, it's mind blowing. So, where you were at 2 years ago versus where you've been and where you're at now, how much could you write? Because I've got 15 years of built up aggression and rage all poured out in one book. Right? And I put that down in about 2 months.
Which is really impressive, which is pretty good. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Because, yeah.
I mean, if you really know your content and you're expanding on your original book, you could probably put something down by the end of the year.
Oh, way before that. I mean, because I wrote this book, I wrote in 7 days. The one that's, and I had it self-published within a month.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's
What's the word count on it?
8,500.
8,500.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's about a week. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not too.
Yeah. I mean, how can you take that and expand it to 50K, including in everything that you've experienced since then, expanding on concepts and ideas and really putting it out there, really adding your own personal twist to it, really making people think? What could you do with that?
I could definitely jot down some ideas and be like, could I expand on this? And kind of mesh both styles of coaching, both the transformational and both high performance, because it's.
Well, you could actually you could talk about your experiences within it. That way, you're not kind of overstepping any lines, right? Because you got the certified side, and then you got the other side. So you want to make sure you're not giving away any secret sauce, but at the same time, you want to provide enough information that everyone enjoys the book.
Right.
Right. So that's going to be a nice path to navigate for you. But I mean, how much could you really write? I suspect if you like to write and you wrote 8,500 words in 7 days, publish it within a month, I'd like to believe you could turn that into a 50K word book with, some high quality content.
Yeah.
And if that's the case, if you have that within you and you can write that well, there's no reason you can't do that by the end of the year. By the end of the next year, you have a course and a book. Because you could easily get that out before the end of the year. That could be a stocking stuffer by the end of the year.
Yeah.
Like it wouldn't be too complex.
No.
Because with what you're doing, you could take it from 75 different angles. Right? Maybe you take those 75 angles, you put them into like, I don't know, 6 categories, 5-6 categories. Right? Coaching in this space, coaching in this category.
It's definitely something for me to kind of think about and to.
Well, right. I mean, so nothing's guaranteed, but I mean, the possibilities are endless.
Right.
And it's a lot of what we perceive is how we frame the discussion, how we frame things, right? Because even earlier in the conversation, you said, okay, I need more traffic. Well, is that the answer? it sounded like you need to really focus on what it is you're doing, right? And that's not okay, I need traffic. If we only stayed on I need traffic, we'd never talk about anything else, right? And if you only seek out that one thing, you're never going to see the peripherals. So, but what you've been doing, it sounds like you already have picked your three areas, what I talked about earlier.
Right.
It sounds like you've already picked those, but still those things need a little more massaging as well. So just to say that you need more traffic is not the only answer, because, right, you still need to really hone in and identify those laser specific areas that you're going to focus in, which also ties into how you're going to brand your website and what type of a message and tone you're going to put onto the website. So it really sucks, but like everything that we're doing is all tied to marketing, right? And it took me years to learn that, really did. And once it finally clicked in my head, I'm like, the fuck? I've been doing marketing this whole time? What the fuck's this? What the fuck's that? And I actually been running away from marketing as a whole. So
it's like
it's
I
all
said,
interconnected.
Yeah, no, when like I mentioned, part of a business building program, and they said you're first a marketer, then you're a therapist, you're a coach, you're a consultant, blah 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 blah. She's like, you have to spend at least 50% of your time marketing. People aren't going to know who you are unless you're out there and you're first a marketer, and then you're a fill in the blank. And so, when I create my schedule for the week, I'm like, okay, so I'm working, let's say 35 hours on my business. 15 to 17 of those hours, I'm marketing. I have to get it out there. So just thinking of all these different avenues of increasing my visibility, getting my content out there, messaging and reaching out to people and working the game,
Yeah. This is why they call it the hustle and grind.
Yep. Yeah.
Because everything that you're about to embark on is nothing but pure work and dedication, sheer will to overcome all of your obstacles to get to where you need to be.
Yeah.
And if you don't have that, you're going to fail.
Yeah.
Because there's so much shit going on. Yeah. There really is. It's insane.
You help definitely clarify some things. I know will help tweak some things, and moving me forward that I didn't know prior to jumping on this call. So I'm extremely grateful for your time, Jared, and like, okay, now I know I can do this. I'm really getting an idea of where to move forward now.
Right.
With a little bit more focus. Yes.
Clarity has been achieved. Yes. Awesome.
A little bit more focus. Yeah. No, because after I get off with you, I'm like, okay, I'm going to go on this website. What can I do?
No. Fuck that. No. Don't do shit today.
Don't do. Oh, it's 7:00 at night.
No, don't do shit. No, don't do shit today. Don't. Here's why. You gotta have time for all that to process. If you try to do anything today, you're most definitely 100% guaranteed to fuck it up.
Okay.
Right. Take a day or two. Come back to the video. I'll send you fucking links to anything you want for it, and then listen to the video, and then that's actually when I promote taking notes. Is after it's all processed through the first day or two, because at that point you're like, okay, a shit ton of shit's been said, a shit ton of shit needs to happen. Let's calm down for a second, and then when you come back, it's like you're fucking on it. So that's what you want to do. In fact, I would say take a whole week, but that's a horrible idea.
I'm on no. I don't have time. I don't have that kind of time. No, I'm on a 90-day business, a business blitz or a 90-day,
Oh, fun.
Yes. No. That's what I'm doing to myself, because
got it. Okay.
I have certain goals for myself, and I'm like, nope, this is what I need to get, and this is what I need to accomplish, and this is what I need to do and stuff. And so, I can't wait a week.
Yeah, no. I mean, sometimes, depending on how well you process things, a week can be fine. Most people, a day or two is fine. But at a minimum, don't do shit today.
Okay.
So
I'll promise you that I won't. I'll eat dinner and then read.
So, that's fine. Yeah.
Yeah. No, but I.
Yeah, because if you put too much focus on everything that we just talked about, you're gonna put too much focus. You're gonna put too much internal pressure on yourself, and then all of that shit that you're promoting, you're doing the exact opposite of.
Yeah. No, I wasn't talking about like running a Facebook ad or anything like that, but I was really curious on that website. So I think just to satisfy my curiosity.
Which one?
The website you mentioned about the keyword trends.
Oh, yeah, trends.google.com.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not doing anything, but I'm like, nah, let me just see, But no, Jared says, no, don't do shit. Any work.
No.
Don't do any work at night.
No. No. I work till midnight most days, but still, what? No. You want to take a night off, process everything, because if you're anything like me, your mind's going to be racing 1,000 miles a minute, trying to process all the information. And so if I was on the receiving end of this call, I would not be going to sleep tonight.
Yeah.
Because that's how I am. I would just be processing and be in bed trying to go to sleep, and it's just like, fuck, I can't sleep. All this stuff's in my head. No.
Yeah.
So you definitely need to take a breather, come back and tackle it tomorrow.
No, that's not a bad idea. I usually
not a bad idea. It's a fucking amazing idea. Shit.
I usually just kind of sit and I write go back through my notes and be like, okay, this was important, or this was important, or this was important, and just kind of go back and probably listen to this. And maybe there was something I might have missed or something.
Yeah. Pretty much any time I learn something in a video, I go back and watch it later. I try to record it and then I go back and watch it the next day or a couple days later, and then try to see if I get the same message from the same information. Because if you can receive the same message the same time from the same source in multiple avenues or at multiple different times, then you're receiving it properly. Because a lot of times we don't understand or receive information the same depending on where we are in life or the time of day, or maybe if you're on a beach in Miami, you're definitely not processing information. Right. You're processing scenery, right? So a lot of those external factors play a role as well. So if you can hear this now and hear it a day or two later and still get the same thing, then you're on the right track.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have to sit on it for a day or two.
Yeah, just take a pen, put it away.
And it's going down.
That's right. Yeah.
On the desk.
Can't see here. Yeah, I know.
All right.
Yeah.
Great.
Awesome. Well, is there anything else you have before we hop off of here and then go do nothing for the rest of the day?
No. There's nothing that comes to mind immediately at this point, but I know that I will have questions after the call, so I will definitely reach out and be like, can you clarify this? Can you clarify this for me and explain this one more time? So, yeah, I will reach out if I have questions for sure.
I know.
Yeah, and I'll get that book, and I'll get the book, the Story Brand.
Oh yeah, I got my copy for like $10 on Kindle. So awesome. There's another book. It was like $3 or $4. Marketing Made Simple.
Oh, I've heard of that.
I think that might even be the one that's free on Kindle Unlimited right now. But I heard of that the other day. I picked it up. It's by the same guy who wrote Story Brand, but this whole premise is about actually applying the principles, not just understanding them.
You know what? I saw it at the bookstore actually last week. I was in Florida and I went to Books A Million and I saw that book and I was like, I don't need this.
You fucking need it.
I know. And instead I got like the 10X Rule by Grant Cardone.
That's still a good one.
Yeah.
Right. It really is. I would actually say take it a step further and listen to the MF CEO podcast.
The what?
MF, Mike Foxtrot CEO.
Okay.
It means what you think it means.
Yep.
Motherfucking CEO. So that's actually Andy Frizella. He's the owner of First Form, the supplement company.
Okay.
That's his company. He's also got some supplement stores as well. But yeah, that dude, he's like, if a veteran became a multimillionaire, that's what he would be.
Mm.
Yeah. So
Okay.
everything that he says is going to fucking resonate really, really well. And he's quick to put people in their place too. So he's that type of same one mind. Right. So it's definitely a resource as well. I've actually marathoned his entire podcast. I've gotten through like the first 3 years of it in a few months. So yeah, there's definitely a lot to go through. Yeah, most people don't say like, "Hey, you're on my podcast. Listen to my podcast." That's what most people do. No, motherfucker, go listen to that guy. That guy's good. Listen to that guy.
Yeah, I'll check it out.
Yeah.
And, let's see.
Awesome.
Perfect. Oh.
Well, before we hop off here, I want to do a quick AAR. So, call's over. We're still live, but the call's over. Right.
Okay.
All right. Yeah. Call's over. So, based on everything that's just happened here, like, what's your take on it? How do you feel about it? Would you recommend it? Any of that?
Yeah, no, I think this was a really great way to kind of just get me to think of different options outside of what I'm already doing. And you definitely brought up really great strategies that I had not yet thought of. And it's really great when you're able to bounce ideas off of somebody else and to be like, okay, this is what I'm doing right now. What else or what more could I be doing, or what could I improve on, or what else could I implement? And so, having somebody to kind of echo to me, such as yourself, that's you're in this space, and this is your bread and butter, and it's not so much mine.
Yeah.
To have you kind of give me a little bit more strategies and things to kind of get me to think about different options. And I'm like, okay, yeah. And some of the things that I'm walking away with is just, like you said, the keyword. And I know that's so incredibly valuable, but I just didn't know where I needed to go. And I'm all about finding people who know more than what I do in a certain area and learning from them, because they will give me the fastest and shortest way of implementing what I need to know, as opposed to Google searching and reading books and wasting time. I don't have time. I need stuff now. So that could be that could be a little bit of my impatience, or that could just be like, I know and I've learned that if I need to learn something from that I don't know, I need to find somebody who's an expert in that area, and more than
definitely
in this area. So you really gave me some great tools, some things for me to consider, and I would definitely recommend this for anybody who is wants another external set of eyes on not only their business, but what strategies that they're doing in terms of promoting their business and in their ideal client or their avatar, from what you mentioned, and just having that professional set of eyes and just being like, okay, well, this is what you could do, as opposed to just asking your friend or your buddy or your mom, you're like, what do you think of my website? Because they're always going to say something nice. And so I appreciate your candid, your honesty, your truth, your open, honest feedback in terms of what I've been doing. And and it's sometimes you just need the kick in the throat and be like, okay, all right, this is what I got to fix. And this is what I got to, and I do that. And I say that in due respect, and I say that in a compliment, but it was really, it was really good. And it definitely got me to think about different things. So
we all need that sometimes. Right. I got one myself this last week. I was just talking to somebody. I'm like, hey, I want to get one more client. Just one more client. They're like, great. Can you call them? Yeah. Well, why aren't you doing it? Fuck. just something simple like that is sometimes all that we need to really get that different perspective, or just give us that little swift kick verbally to all right, gotta fucking do it, got it.
Yeah, and we need to be challenged in order for us to step up, and that's what I do with my clients. Not only just
Right.
challenging them in a good, supportive, and encouraging way. Not so much of like, what are you, lazy? It's just more of like, what do you think could happen if you implemented this
See,
action?
you're so much nicer than me because that's exactly what I would say. The fuck you doing? Make money, motherfuckers.
Yeah.
No.
No, that's my approach.
No, I don't always cuss people out, but I do not shy away from the truth. So,
Yeah. No, and this was definitely very helpful. With the time that we set aside for this, it was really good in terms of getting me to think about other things and what I can do moving forward. And I plan on and will implement takeaways from this call. It's not just going to sit in my notebook and I'm going to close my notebook and be like, that was fun. Like, no, it's
hey, I'll believe it when I see it.
yeah. And I will take pictures and I will show you, what I'm doing.
All right. You got 30 days. Clock's ticking.
30 days. Yeah. I will. And time starts now.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't do shit today, but time starts now. Yeah, I got it.
No, so it was really good. And I really do appreciate your time that you set aside for this.
Yeah, no, it's definitely my pleasure. Helping people is it's what it's all about. Making money is awesome, but if you ain't helping nobody, then what's the point?
It's not.
So,
yeah.
All right. Well, I think with that, we're just going to wrap it up. So, Judy, how can everyone find you on social media and your website?
So my website, it's judyskilling.com, which is simple. So it's judyskilling.com. And you can find me on Facebook as Judy Skilling, High Performance Coach for Military Veterans, or HPC Vet.
Do you have the link for that on your website?
I will after this call.
I'm just saying, that's a whole lot of shit to remember.
It is.
So
I do have social media icons on my website where you can definitely find me on LinkedIn and Facebook.
That's a start. Step in the right direction. Cool.
Yes.
Awesome. All right, everyone. You heard it straight from the horse's mouth. This is Judy Skilling with her high performance coaching company. We just went through the digital diagnosis, and we're going to take a break for the night, move on tomorrow, and dominate the world. Until next time, guys, this is Jared with the digital diagnosis on the Digital Battlefield podcast. Until next time, guys, stay safe, stay warm, stay cold, wherever your geographic location is. But always have fun and do everything for the right reason. Later, guys.